Chase Wark won a race this weekend.
He really needed a W, so whatever it takes.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
I want to see the Chase Wark documentary about him doing no top tier races, but getting like 25 wins, like from just like being a grassroots domineer, you know, like.
The Lyons Heart Gravel Classic in Mandan, North Dakota offers riders a unique experience through the Heart River Valley. There is the 6,000 feet of climbing, but then there's also the $7,000 prize purse on offer, as well as riders coming from more than 10 different states to compete.
The past month's been, I have called it the Grassroots Gravel Tour. I went and won my hometown race, the Hotdish, and then 2 weeks after that, ended up winning Lutz 99er. And then over the 4th of July weekend, Freedom Gravel, I ended up pulling off the W at that race. So I'm on a 3-race win streak. There's not many gravel races with prize money. My goal is to try to win again. It's $1,500 to win. The day started off super clear. Every hill we hit, the field kind of whittled down. At one point, I just put a feeler out to see if I could go solo kind of early. That didn't end up working, so we ended up with a group of 4 to 5 for a little bit. Racing these local races, I love doing that because I get to connect with people at the races, and everything's just at a much smaller scale, so it's confidence building, just connecting with people, seeing what I can take away from that, like as a race director myself, if I can be like, oh, I really liked this small thing this race did, so maybe I add that and it doesn't add any cost or just adds a nice small touch.
Grassroots Gravel like blazed the trail for, if you want to call it corporate, I don't know what you call the other stuff, but corporate events. They wouldn't exist today without Grassroots. And it's interesting, I mean, Unbound was this grassroots thing, right? It was a labor of love, just like, you know, for us Minnesotans, the Almanza 100 was, right? Or like Trans Iowa was it for Guitar Ted. It was just something that these people, what they put into it, right? They just wanted to do this thing for the community. This was exciting, this was fun. It was great, their ideas, it was their thing. They put it out there into the world, and this community of gravel cyclists and enthusiasts grew up around it. I got into event directing actually through cyclocross racing. So I hosted a cyclocross race in my parents' backyard to raise money for the U of M team. And yeah, I wanted to put on a race but not have to go through all the red tape. So it was just, hey mom, can I have a race in the backyard? And cleaned up some trails and held a race for 4 years, I think, in my parents' backyard. And then we moved into gravel racing, which is mine are very grassroots. At my grandma's house, like, it's at my grandma's house. There's no, hey, city of Princeton, I want to close these roads off. It's, hey, grandma, can I have 400 people over at your house, and can you make tacos to serve afterwards? And having a race at my grandma's house is special just because I get to connect with her and do something super special with her every single year.
and my other grandmas are supportive, like Grandma Glennis will make cookies, and I feel like it just, no matter what, some families have family reunions, I feel like we have Granny's gravel grinder. Now I'm taking over the Filthy 50.
The Filthy 50 was an idea that my dad and I had while we were riding the Almanza 100 many years ago. He had the idea, I think, because he said, 100 miles is crazy. Like, this is dumb. What are we doing? And all at the time, like, all of the gravel cycling events were like 100 miles plus, right? Transat was 300 miles. Kansas was 200. 100 mile Almanza was like the achievable one, right? And so he's like, oh, if we just had a 50, that'd be great. I thought about it some more, and finally I got Dad, Mom, my brother, all on board with putting this thing on. So it was like a family affair, right? And my family and I like got along fine, but now we had kind of a thing that we were working toward and doing. And that first year was like so amazing how we all kind of came together and worked on creating this experience. We didn't even know what we were doing. We thought we were having a barbecue for 30 people. It turned into a 300-person cycling event, right? Very different thing. But everybody pitched in, and that kind of was the genesis for like the things that we started doing. And I say we because it wasn't just me, but really it's, Mom, Dad, my brother, and me. And also a bunch of friends and also distant relatives. Like, people just want to pitch in on this stuff. It's funny because then the dam turned into a similar thing. Like, it was actually my dad's idea. He's like, oh, we should ride across the state sometime. Like when we decided to make it a thing beyond that, just that day of riding bikes across the state, Mom, Dad, my brother was like, all right, what are we going to do? Like, let's do this thing. And that to me is I guess like how we, and I'll say we every time, got into doing this. And I wouldn't change it for the world, because it really like has developed this strength, this bond between all of us, and we're so much better off as a family for putting these events on for the gravel community. Went up to Princeton, Minnesota several years ago, and I think it was the first annual Granny's Gravel Grinder. And I really just saw how he and his family showed up. And it really reminded me of when my family kind of started putting these things on. I watched them like figuring it out too, which was super cool, but they were all so engaged, having so much fun. I got a hug from his grandma at the finish. We all did. It was great. I'd say he and his family created a really unique and wonderful experience for everybody. It didn't matter if you're the guy that won, DFL, last person across the line, everybody in between. We all had a great time. We had a potluck in Grandma's garage. And I left that, like I went into that day thinking, all right, this guy who's a really fast guy on a bike is putting this thing on. We'll go check it out and see how it goes. And I left thinking, wow, that was awesome. Like, he's thinking about everyone. He's not just thinking about the pointy, right? He's thinking about everybody, the experience that my kid has. He's thinking about the experience of the person who doesn't even finish, right? Like, that to me gave me serious respect for him as an event director, and is probably the main reason why I contacted him after discussing all of this with my family. We decided we were going to do this forever. We talked about, hey, do we shut these down? Do we hand them off? What do we do? And he was the candidate, really, in the state to hand them off to.
Because both of those events are so meaningful to me and to many other people, I could not pass up that opportunity. Filthy 50, I really wanted to take that over because I remember having a phone call several years ago with someone being like, we need more races like the Filthy 50 because it's not a 100-mile gravel race. It's a 50-mile gravel ride race, whatever you want to call it. And that's more welcoming to a lot of beginner folks. And one of my goals as just a person in general is get more people on bikes, because I think it can really help them mentally and physically.
We need to bring up young riders, but we also need to bring up young leaders. And I think he is that. So he's got that, that sort of, that vibe, that energy, the gravitas, if you will. And I really am excited to see what he does with the sport of gravel in general. Someday when corporate events dry up and they're gone, I'm still going to be going riding Granny's gravel grinder, right? Yeah.
Day started clear skies, and then as the day went, the air quality got worse and worse, which meant I did not want to put out a super hard effort, whether that's 1 hour or even like I was going to put out an effort, I wanted it to be like 30 seconds and then get into the aero bars and hopefully stay away without having to dig too deep for too long. Around mile 30, it was just two of us, me and Dylan. The second MMR, these are like also 5 mile long MMRs. So this is not just, oh yeah, there's a cool half-mile sector MMR. These are long MMRs. Like, I don't even know how they're roads, honestly. Like, luckily I remember it from last year. There's this gnarly, washed out, like rutted MMR where I almost went over the bars. I don't know why I thought I could play mountain biker at the beginning. Maybe it's from Lutzen, but I was like this close to going over the bars, saved it, and then I'm like, dude, I'm walking the puddles. I just need to chill out. Like, we just want to make it to the finish without smoke in our lungs and like broken bone. It's weird with these local races, or really any race, whether it's big or small, you get into this breakaway and you work really well together, and then at some point you're gonna have to wreck or attack that friendship. So like in Lutzen, me and Emil worked really well together, and I feel bad being like, okay, I'm gonna have to try to drop you, and like, we're gonna now be chasing each other. Going back to the expo and the panel, a lot of the two people on, so there was Emily, me, Morgan, and Stu Streeter. And Emily and Stu both mentioned they were in town for their job. For Emily, that's working the SRAM Expo, and for Stu, he travels all over for his job. And I was like, well, I'm here for my job too. Like, I'm a pro biker, there's money on the line. Like, I want to win the $1,500 prize purse because I can put that into Wout's college fund now. I have to race like my living, I kind of have to race like my living is on the line, because $1,500 is a good amount of money. It feels bad attacking this friendship that you develop over the course of hours out on course. And like, it's just a bike race. At the end of the day, like, we'll be friends at the finish line, and like, we'll share stories. And you know, I wouldn't have ever met Dylan if it weren't for today. There was this kind of bigger hill coming up, and I was like, I'm gonna burn one big match at this hill. big attack, and then, yeah, 10 miles into Mandan, I just rode the arrow bars and pulled off the wind.
Minnesota with a time of 5:14.19, Chase Wark.
So that's 4 in a row, and now Nepomuk's next. So that one will be interesting because Adam Roberge is going to be there.